Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk about the new Billie Eilish single, My Future, which is coming off of a EP or a new album that should be coming, I'm hoping, by the end of this year. We're still, I think, a little bit in the dark about that. I've heard some rumors. But I am just absolutely floored by the music that Billie has been putting out. Her previous single, Everything I Wanted, released last November, was something that instantly I gravitated towards and have been listening to on repeat for months since. And what really I think is such a wonderful delight to me for an artist like Billie, who, from the Grammys and from all the awards and the streams and the radio play that she suddenly received at such a young age, you would think that there would be so much radio and record label pressure on her to sort of replicate that success with whatever her next big lead single would be for Billie Eilish's second studio album. I would imagine, I was expecting to see her trying to replicate the success of Bad Guy over and over. And so what we're getting are these deeply delicate, intricate, introverted, emotional tracks from her that cut to the core so deeply, it's seriously painful. It's beautifully painful. I don't know. There's something about artists, particularly mainstream pop artists, that when they make emotional music, maybe I'm just getting kind of numb to it, but I just don't quite feel what they're saying to the same extent. But Billie's lyrics are devastating. And the way she delivers it, and the fact that she kind of keeps out of the public eye, and then the imagery she uses to portray the visuals, the aesthetic that she uses, making sure she doesn't show very much skin, portraying herself stylistically in a very specific way, never necessarily showing too much emotion on her face. She's always a little bit sullen looking, but I think that that's very much a part of this journey that she's trying to take us on. I think that Billie is brilliantly using her craft as an artist to cut where it hurts the most, to cause real introspection, real inner looking at demons that we might have. But then there's always a positive spin. And in My Future, although it might seem at first like such a gut wrenching, melancholic song, the sentiment of it is also a positive one if you consider it being that there's definitely a feeling that Billie has hope in herself, beyond hope, that she will have a brighter future ahead, that there are brighter days for her, that she will feel like she is the person she is meant to be and will fully come into that in the next few years. She even references that in the lyrics. I'm in love, but not with anybody here. I'll see you in a couple of years. She's talking and referencing about how, there's pressure and there's expectation and thought around, oh, I'm going to start dating. I'm going to start really pursuing a relationship right now. Now that I am coming close to being in my 20s. I think Billie is 19 currently. But she's stating that she's not going to be, don't expect to see Billie. Things might change, but don't expect to see Billie on the arm of some man or some person for a long time. She is finding her roots and really exploring what it is to be in love with herself. And I'm in love, but not with anybody else. Just want to get to know myself. And then she says, I know supposedly I'm lonely now. No, I'm supposed to be unhappy. These lyrics seriously hit me deep. Without someone, but aren't I someone? I'd like to be your answer, 'cause you're so handsome. But I know better than to drive you home, 'cause you'd invite me in, and I'd be yours again. And I'm in love with my future, and you don't know her, but I'm in love with my future. I mean, I think that this speaks to a maturity and level of wisdom that, again, I think Billie is just one of those rare artists who's just on another plane here compared to a lot of artists her age. And I just am so touched by the sentiment. I'm almost 10 years older than her, but in many ways, we're, still very young and finding our footing along with our idea of, well, are we really supposed to be with someone? Are we better off alone? Are we more solitary? We feel lonely, but we kind of notice that a lot of it is projected onto us by the media. There's this expectation or this thought that, being alone is a bad thing. It has a negative connotation. But As much as there are negative aspects to being alone a lot of the time, there's also positive aspects that the media tends to overlook, that the narrative tends to overlook in mainstream culture. And so I like that Billie is not afraid to say it to its face. And I think that Billie is in such a great position because she rose to such heights and such fame. And everyone's kind of expecting her to sell out at any moment. I don't see that happening. I really am I feel like she's just growing more and more endearing and less controlled and compromising. She's really trying to create music that pierces right through, and right to the core of whatever the emotion is that she's exploring. And that kind of unapologetic emotional brazenness is something that I wish we had more of in the mainstream pop landscape. And I just love that she's not really making songs for radio at all. She could care less. Also, the music video with the Studio Ghibli reminiscent visuals fits the whimsicality of the song so well. The imagery of her looking up at the moon and melancholically thinking about, where her life may lead her and possibly being much more in love with the idea of yourself in the future because currently you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. You feel like you've got the potential, but you're not living up to it. And so you're kind of trying to comfort yourself in those kind of slightly more lonely, melancholic moments to try and avoid the emptiness and loneliness that you might feel. And it's a great tool to try and overcome that. And these lyrics are going to speak to me in those dark, moonlit moments so strongly. And so, I mean, I was floored. I didn't expect the tempo change. I didn't expect the instrumentation to come in slightly more when we repeat into the second verse. In a world where the future seems possibly quite bleak and uncertain, I think a song like this has extra weight. And I know that Billie was aware of this as she wrote it during quarantine. And the understanding now of where we are kind of heading, that this can go on a macrocosm level as well as the interpersonal microcosm level to sing about the future and to sing about hope in general. So, anyway, I just had to give my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm really excited for Billie's second project. Goodness gracious, I didn't expect to be, but after this song, Everything I Wanted, even the James Bond song, I mean, she's really knocking it out of the park here. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching. Please give this a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more reviews. I will see you in my next video. Peace, love, and light. Bye.